Hello everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at a really cool book that I picked up from Neoglyphic Media called An Unknown Power. This is published by Mega Press and Neoglyphic Media. This was actually published in 2019. This was just on their website when I went and grabbed the Flowform specimen. I grabbed a couple other things. And this book is really interesting. I'm not going to show, well, maybe I do have all of the artists tagged. There's some stuff like this where it was just more imagistic, and or like these here where it's just people doing experiments with print. And so I haven't tagged everything in here, but I've tagged the comics mostly, that I found compelling. So this piece here is by Lando, one of the two guys, I'm assuming, over at Decadence Comics. A nice little Rhizo piece. Every time I see stuff from Decadence, though, I always feel like they have such thin lines, and then the lines look really broken up in the print. Really like to see the Decadence stuff get some nice print, because those guys have beautiful line work. The cool thing about this book is that each artist has definitely been given permission to use the Rhizo printing or trick kind of printing however they want. So there's not like a set color scheme that has to be used with the printing here, even though it all looks like Rhizo printing. This here is by Baptiste Virot, someone that I've been following on Instagram and find their comics both confusing and compelling. But seeing Baptiste work in the abstract here and just work with color and form is really, really cool. I like this like little key up here that kind of gives the implication of some kind of consistency throughout. And then just the intensity of the colors that you get, especially the yellows and oranges and pinks that you get from the risograph, is really, really fun to look at. Here's another like super colorful. You can see this one. I don't know how many colors of ink are on here, but this is by Jinhee Han, and it's definitely got a green, an orange, a blue, a pink, a yellow. So this is more than a 4-color print. I think each one of these colors is really its own ink cartridge, and a lot of cool overlaying. This actually even has like a metallic kind of ink put on it. That's one of the things I really like about this book. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a kind of bronzy, coppery color here that's metallic. And so that's really, really cool to see, like, trick production going on, and it's just used to beautiful effect in this book. This was maybe my favorite piece in this book. This is by Juli, Majer, and Cristian Hernandez. It looks like a bunch of chaos at first, but when you really start looking at it, you realize that these are like alien characters, and they're speaking to each other in this like diagrammatic language. And there's a real sense of there's a sense of logic behind it. There's a sense that this all does, even though it doesn't make sense to me, it seems that this makes sense to these characters, and even to the author, like that there's some kind of interpretable like code behind what's going on here. I say that especially on these ones that look like logic gates to me in a bit, or these flow charts. You could have like an and or function, and then that logic gate could be used to, like in computers, once you have the and or function, you can pretty much do binary, and then with binary you can get a machine to do anything. So it has this sense of like an alien logic and an alien language kind of explaining the structure of the universe to it. Really, that's all just me reading this into it. Lord knows what the artist is up to, but there's something about the combination of these like heavenly, angelic alien creatures here with the combination of these really tight diagrammatic icons that I found really compelling. Here's Lilli Carré, I think. This is another, you can see, experiment with the Rhizo printing and using different colors. So you got the green, the black, the yellow, and the blue. I really like the minimal abstract cartooning in this one. It still tells a story, but you got to work a little bit harder to piece it together. And again, poetics of form, just like following this yellow down here, this flame. think just really well designed stuff. This thing here just absolutely blew my eyes out. This is by Kari Cholnoky, I think is how you pronounce it. But the same image printed over and over, just with different colors and then shifting kind of the details and the values. Ooh, that's intense. Like a weird lizard person, Donald Trump in there. I don't know what this adds up to, but this is a hell of a thing to look at. And the colors, again, with the Rhizo are really intense. Margot Ferrick, this is another really cool one that has these like coppery inks on it, and this is like an airplane that shoots up and then folds itself in space, and I don't know, like lands on a bed. I don't know what the stories in a lot of these are about, but they look so cool, and with these golden inks and whatnot, it's just really nice to look at. I don't think in this book that most of the trick production really adds much to the content other than just form. It looks cool. Some more play with color here. And then this is by Nichole Shinn, and again a poetics of form type of thing, just looking at a Fibonacci sequence and then spiraling that out onto a gate, and then kind of putting the gate into like this MC Escher like transformation with the shell of the snail becoming the Fibonacci spiral down. So I think that's just a really fun, again, piece of like poetics of form and transformation, but really, really nicely drawn. Some other wild pinups in here. It's a cool book. It's a collection. It's a good, varied collection of illustration and comics, and I think it's just intended to. This looks like 2019, so I think that's when the Rhizo thing was really kicking off. I don't know. At Mocha, they still had a nice big Rhizo booth there promoting the Rhizo lab and how Rhizo works and the educational materials. But this is the kind of stuff I want to see. I want to see really beautifully produced objects, things where the production is considered all the way through, things where you're doing stuff with metallic inks and things that, like, this I could read digitally and it would be the same thing, but the ones with the metallic inks and whatnot, I gotta have the physical object. And so I think the more that the books lean into the physicality and justify themselves as books, the more interested I am in them. I just want to see more of that kind of stuff in favor of the concept or the story, not just like purely for design reasons. I mean, it's fine just for design reasons. It looks nice. I'm happy to have it on my shelf, but I want to see someone use those things for narrative and emotional impact. And I think that's kind of probably the next thing that should be coming in comics, like where the boundaries can be pushed a little bit more is in the physical production aspect of things. And I have some ideas for those kind of things, but we'll see if I ever get around to doing them and trying them. So this kind of thing is really inspiring to me. Unknown Power from Neoglyphic Media. Definitely, if you're interested in that kind of offshoot of comics where it's really about the production, this is kind of a must-have little piece, I think. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, you enjoy the books that we're exposing you to, there's two ways to support us. The first is through our Patreon. We have two different tiers of support that you can engage in there that get you early access to the videos, and then at the higher tier you also get a lot of exclusive comic content, art content that Sean and I put on Patreon. That's really appreciated. The money we get from there helps us buy the books that we review. So we just try and put that back into the community. And then if you want to support us, you want to support Living the Line itself, the best thing to do is to support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of his books now. The Exile by Eric Creek is a gorgeously illustrated Viking saga of revenge. Eric Creek calls it his Viking Western. It's about a guy who's been away on the warpath and is returning home to some family troubles that have to be resolved, and this is told in just this amazing like kind of 3-color art style that looks like old woodblock cuts or something. It's absolutely gorgeous book that you've got to pick up. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.